According to Realtor.com, this week, April 14th through the 19th, is the best time to sell your home in 2025. Here with the details, we've got Hannah Jones, Realtor.com Senior Economic Research Analyst. Hannah, good to have you on the program with us. You released this research in March, which, with everything that's happened since, is it still true?
Yeah, so this week does still bring the best combination of housing conditions within the year for sellers. However, of course, recent events have introduced some risk to that forecast. But nevertheless, the spring is a time when buyer demand is on the way up, prices tend to be on the way up, but sellers have not quite flooded into the market yet. And so those early sellers stand to see a market ready for well-priced move-in ready homes.
And so with that, mortgage rates were at 6.6% for the past 2 weeks. Based on Realtor.com forecasts, is that the best level buyers can hope for this year?
Uncertainty is the name of the game. It's unclear which way mortgage rates are going to go. It looks like they might go a little bit higher in the short run. But generally, working with an expert, working with a realtor, and having an honest conversation about, what price point am I able to afford given rates, given how much savings I have, and given what's on the market? That's the most important thing to be looking at for buyers right now.
Why is this the 7-day stretch that is the best week to sell your home and to list your home and put it on the market and hopefully woo some potential buyers out there?
Yeah, so we look at a variety of different factors, but it's really the combination of, prices are, above the year's average. They're above earlier in the year. Buyers are coming back in the market faster than sellers are generally. And, you're not seeing as many price reductions, and you're not seeing as many price reductions, and you're able to continue to get buyer demand, especially, in this market, which is still really challenging for many buyers. Buyers are excited to see move-in ready homes. You've done those little updates, you've painted, those sorts of things are really going to be what grab buyer attention.
Okay, so you started to answer the question, but what more should sellers be doing if they want to take advantage of the buyers that are out there, of course, making their list, checking it twice, and trying to figure out which house is right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this housing market, like I said, is very challenging. And so sellers should really price competitively, be realistic, price competitively, and you will see, or you could see that you get multiple offers, that you get a lot of buyer attention if you do price at a point that is attractive to buyers, especially if your home is looking good, it's showing ready, all of that. Those are great ways to entice buyers to look at your home, because buyers are feeling really strained in this market.
Okay, so from the buyer's perspective, how can they best approach the table here? Is now a bad time to buy?
It's not necessarily, there's no bad time to buy. It really depends on what you need, where you are in your life. Life does go on, marriage, divorce, kids, those sorts of things. And so I think what buyers can do to really prepare for this market is, have a real conversation with an expert, such as a realtor, to understand, how much do I have? How much will it take to get what I want, where I want? And, will I need to make any concessions? Are there any things, maybe looking at a smaller house like Claire was discussing, or maybe looking in a different neighborhood that's a little bit lower priced, having those honest conversations, and then, really getting your ducks in a row, because there are some markets where homes are still selling really fast. So that means that you need to be ready to move once you see what you're looking for on the market.
Should you be down? Should you be discouraged if you don't sell this week?
Absolutely not. This is the best week to sell, but the next few weeks are nearly as good. The risk that you run getting deeper into the spring and the summer is that more sellers come onto the market, which means that you're going to be facing more competition from other sellers. And you'll see, a higher likelihood of price reductions, a little bit less demand for your property. And so, just getting in on the early side is a great idea, but you also shouldn't sacrifice, those necessary things to get your home ready for sale. So it is a balance. You want to make sure your home is ready for showings, ready to be seen, and, try and get into the market perhaps before, the chaos of the summer.
What do you think the uncertainties are between next year's big selling season and this week, this power week that's playing out, that we've typically looked to kind of be the major catalyst for the seller's market within the April 13th through 19th range?
Yeah, there is a lot of uncertainty right now, and buyers are feeling it, sellers are feeling it. It's a little bit of a scary time to be making big financial decisions. And so I think that just how the tariffs play out, how different economic policies play out, are going to really impact seller and buyer sentiment, depending on how secure people are feeling in their jobs, how much they feel like they're able to save or spend on a down payment right now. Those are going to be really important factors as we get deeper into the selling season.
Hannah, thanks so much for breaking this all down for us. Appreciate it.